So this is for all of my Latinos for Trump, which I will never forgive you for putting this man back in office, especially because your roots, he was never going to pick you. Anyways, so remind me again how you guys were for a person that wanted to get all the people that didn't belong here or came here the wrong way. Why are we trying to fly back white South Africans? Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in some white South Africans. If you don't get the message now, like, you guys are probably the type of people that, like, your ex told you that they needed to focus on themselves and you believe them. Like, that's the type of people that I believe you are, because this man was never going to pick you. He was never for you. And the fact that you fell for the BS is beyond me. This was never about getting criminals out. This was about getting people like them back in and back in control. So, like, that whole rhetoric, it was a lie. I don't know if you've noticed, because you guys have been very quiet. I haven't seen a single Latino for Trump come out and, like, defend their stance, because you have no stance. They want us out. We are the target, okay? And you were complicit in getting this man back into power. But it's fine. Like, we'll have a whole therapy session about it. But, yeah, it's very clear what they're trying to do. And you know what? Like, you can still, like, make amends, but you have to start standing up. Like, you have to start speaking up. Just like you were so loud to defend this man, like, we need you now to step up and get united with us and back our community up and step up, because it's getting more radical out here. And they're only doing it step by step. They were never going to come out like in, like, you know, Star Wars Death Troopers style. No, they were going to do it piece by piece, and it's getting worse. So we need all the help that we can get, and you guys need to make this right.
Imagine voting for a man who called your country a shithole and then watching him send private jets to rescue people who look nothing like you but like him. This is not satire. This is not fiction. This is American immigration policy under Donald Trump, and now Latinos for Trump are waking up angry, betrayed, and realizing they were never part of the plan. To the Latinos for Trump, what did you expect? Welcome to a Frivlog Updates, where truth is not just told, it's unveiled. No filters. No sugarcoating. No distractions. Just raw, uncut reality from the streets to the seats of power. If you are ready to see the world as it is, not as they want you to believe, you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and stay informed. We deeply respect and acknowledge every creator whose work is featured here. Your voice matters and your presence is recognized. This is a Frivlog Updates.
Sending private planes to pick up 8,000 Caucasian South African refugees when we're kicking people out that are in the middle of their immigration proceedings here in the U.S. now. Literally having people show up for their final steps of their immigration process and having them arrested, detained, and deported. Doesn't make any sense to me unless...
You cheered as Trump promised to clean up illegal immigration, believing he'd spare you. You thought you were close enough to whiteness to be protected. But what you're seeing now, that was the plan all along. Trump never meant to make room for you. He meant to make room for them, white South Africans. Now, the same man who called Mexican migrants rapists is rolling out the red carpet for white South African refugees. Not because they are persecuted, but because they fit his Crayola box, one very specific color. He said it himself, more immigrants from Norway. Fewer from Haiti, El Salvador, Africa. Why? The reason is loud and clear, and it wears a mega hat. Let's not sugarcoat it, Latinos were one of Trump's surprise voting blocs. In 2020 and in the last election, Trump won over more than a third of Latino voters, including a staggering over 40% of Latino men. In places like Florida, Texas, and Arizona, many Latinos helped put him within striking distance of re-election. They weren't just quiet supporters. They wore the hats. They waved the flags. They stood on stage and said, "We are not illegal. We came the right way. We support law and order." They thought they were different. And now, they are watching the same men they campaigned for put undocumented Latinos on buses out of America, while bringing in white South Africans by private jet. If you're a Latino Trump supporter, this is personal. You believed Trump when he said he just wanted to get rid of criminals. You believed he was going after MS-13, not your uncle, not your mom. You believed that by showing loyalty, by waving the American flag harder than anyone, you'd be safe. But this week, the mask slipped. Trump just told you who he really values, and you're not on that list. Not even close. Now some of you are waking up. Angry. Confused. Betrayed. But here's the question: were you betrayed, or did you just refuse to see the truth? You thought if you distanced yourself from other immigrants, you'd be accepted. But in the eyes of Trump's America, you were always just another brown face. This isn't about law. This isn't about order. This is about color. This is about race. And now you know.
Call out Donald Trump for being a huge hypocrite. Imagine that, Donald Trump a hypocrite. Donald Trump, I thought we weren't accepting any refugees from any part of the world. Donald Trump, how is it possible that you gave an order for the State Department to make arrangements to send a plane to South Africa to pick up South African refugees? And Donald, they all look pretty pasty. They all look, definitely that pasty color. I got to be careful when we talk about colors. And I know y'all may not remember, but Crayola used to have that 64 box of every color in the world. And there's only one color in that Crayola box of 64 that Donald Trump seems to like. And any other color in that box of crayons, Donald Trump doesn't seem to like. My Latinos, I want to understand this. Now, he's accepting refugees from South Africa. And who else is from South Africa? Elon Musk? Interesting. But any other refugees from Central America, South America, Latin America, any other Caribbean country, Ukraine, you name it, especially those from south of the border, we're trying to deport them and send them out, reject their TPS, cancel their TPS as fast as we can, even when they're law-abiding people. But South Africans, especially those really pasty ones, that one color in the crayon box of 64, there's one color Donald Trump doesn't seem to have a problem with using that color in that crayon box. You know which one it is. What do you think? What is Donald Trump's favorite Crayola color? We all know what it is. Look at the South Africans. You'll know the answer. So my Latinos, y'all going to keep up this voting in 2026 and 2028? Yep. You're going FAFO too. Yep. What do y'all think? Love you for my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, my burned out light bulbs, and all my Latinos, all of y'all that voted for Trump. You see how he does you and your people? You weren't in that box of Crayola crayons that he picked out. He just picked out one color that he liked for his favorite color to color with.
To all the Latinos for Trump, specifically the Mexicans, the Mexican Americans, on this Mother's Day weekend, if you have an undocumented mom, I want you to look her straight in the eyes and tell her, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Thank you for crossing the border and risking your life just so I could be born here, grow up, and be a freaking sellout and vote against you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and sorry for voting for a guy that wants you out of this country just because I wanted more money, just because of the economy. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and let's hope you don't get deported.
Sending private planes to pick up 8,000 Caucasian South African refugees when we're kicking people out that are in the middle of their immigration proceedings here in the U.S. now. Literally having people show up for their final steps of their immigration process and having them arrested, detained, and deported. Doesn't make any sense to me unless
So remember when Trump called Haiti, African nations, and Salvador shithole countries? Now, I'm quite sure you remember Haiti. And I want to make sure I include all three because as we see, his racism is in full blast. Don't tell me he's not being racist. So let me tell you how the statement even came about. They were talking to Trump about the visa lottery system. And he's upset with the lottery system. He don't want anybody coming from those countries. So he was going on. And the president asked, why should we give Haiti special consideration? And this was his statement. Why do we need more Haitians? Take them out. I'm quite sure you could hear a pin drop in the room. And somebody from the back yelled, because if you do, it will be obvious why. Because it's racism. It was in full display. And you know how you know that it's racism? Because he said the U.S. should have more people coming from Norway. Norway! He don't have a problem with them migrating over here. One of the whitest countries in the world. So initially he denied the statement. And then on that Friday, he railed on Twitter talking about the Democrats, that they seem intent on having people and drugs pour into the country from the southern border, risking thousands of lives in the process. It is my duty to protect the lives and safety of all Americans. We must build a great wall. Think merit and end lottery and chain. Your wife came in for an Einstein visa. I see nothing that she's intellectual whatsoever. But yeah, this is how you know that it's racism. And I don't see how you can ignore it. Now, it's very easy to recall that he called Haiti a shithole nation, right? That's the headline. But I think it's very important that when you're talking to someone that Trump is racist, that you have the whole story behind you. You know why he said what he said. Put it all together. The racism is loud and clear. You guys have a blessed day.
While this racist-ass administration terrorizes Latinos across America, some who have been here all their life have done the right thing, go to their appointments, to do the right things, and then be arrested at their appointments. And then some who just go to work and live their daily lives day by day, graduate from high school, go to college, not committing criminal acts, working jobs and paying taxes like everybody else. If this administration, their racist ass thugs, go and kidnap these people, terrorize their kids, make their kids cry, and then we're going to welcome open arms these people right here. If this ain't all out racism, I don't know what is. Sickening, man. Sickening. And I shouldn't hold no ill will toward these people because it's not their fault. And I really wouldn't have no problem with them coming here if the other side was treated the same way. But this is about what it is. Make America white. And treat Latinos who have worked in this country and paid taxes like shit. If you Latinos for Trump, you're all the biggest fucking embarrassments to your old damn selves. Look at your fucking self in the mirror. Ain't nothing white about you, pendejo. Fuck Donald Trump and fuck his racist ass supporters.
Do you know the important differences between a Mexican migrant worker and a South African migrant worker? Let's talk about it. First, let's talk about where they come from. Did you know that Mexican people had half of their land taken by the United States? I'm amazed that people don't know this, but think of every city in the United States, Southwest, that has a Spanish name. That used to be Mexico. You know how Trump is saying he wants to take Greenland, how he wants to annex Canada? That's essentially what the United States did to much of Mexico. We have California, Wyoming, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, parts of Wyoming. I can't even remember all of them. Sometimes Mexican people like to say, we didn't cross the border crossed us. Now let's talk about where South African people come from. The people who are coming here as migrants were colonizers in South Africa. And during the apartheid system, black people had their citizenship taken away from them, and the country was run by white colonizers. Black people were sent to live in ghettos and Bantustans where they had no legal rights and lived very harsh lives without dignity until there was a revolution and apartheid was overthrown in rather recent history, I think like in the late 80s. Now that white people no longer control South Africa, many of these migrants feel that they want to live somewhere else. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk are here to welcome them. Now let's talk about benefits. You know, like free housing, food, shelter, things like that. Mexican people, Mexican workers, although we see them everywhere, picking our fruits and vegetables, working in restaurants, taking care of our elders, doing construction, doing building, the Mexican laborers have gotten zero free benefits, zero free housing, zero free food stamps, zero free Section 8, because they have been undocumented workers, working here under the radar, not because they wanted to, but because the rich people didn't want to fix the immigration system so they could pay them cheaper. But they did give many of the day laborers Social Security numbers that were not good for anything but helping them to pay taxes into the system here. So yes, they've been paying into the system but not getting any benefits. Now let's talk about the South Africans. They'll be here under refugee status, so they will be entitled to housing, food support, whatever someone on a low income level is entitled to in the state where they live, they will be entitled to it. And perhaps more. I don't know what the deal is that Donald Trump has set up for them, but they will be like the Venezuelan people that were here. The Venezuelan people also had a protected status. They were here legally because the United States had caused with sanctions, starvation, and, a humanitarian crisis in the United States attempts to throw out a so-called socialist government the United States didn't like. So the South African immigrants will get these benefits that MAGA people like to talk a lot about. But understand, the Mexican day laborers, the Mexican migrant workers never received these benefits, but paid into the system. These are just things that, no matter what your opinion on immigration is, that I wish all American people, all United States citizens, I just wish people understood that.
Well, aren't these just the healthiest looking refugees I've ever seen? The most nourished, the most well kept, cleanest, most well dressed refugees I've ever seen. I've never seen such stunningly healthy, good looking refugees in my life. Thank God America offered them refuge from South Africa. Thank God. They look like they could not have even stood another day there.
Let's talk about these so-called South African refugees. South Africa is a majority black country. Yet white South Africans, who make up just 7% of the population, own more than 65% of the land. Many of them are descendants of apartheid rulers who denied black South Africans their rights, their land, and their humanity. Now, they claim they are the ones oppressed. That's who Trump is flying in. Refugees, or land barons in exile. Compare that to the Latino migrants being deported today, many of whom have lived in the US for decades, raised children here, paid taxes, built our economy, and committed no crimes. Some were brought as children. Others risked their lives crossing deserts just to find work. No benefits. No handouts. No refugee status. Yet they have been rounded up, arrested during legal immigration appointments, and deported. Meanwhile, Trump arranges private planes for white South Africans. You still think this is about legal versus illegal? Think again. This isn't immigration policy, it's racial selection. Trump's strategy is to reshape America's demographics by rewarding whiteness and punishing everyone else. His track record is consistent. Ban Muslims. Deport Latinos. Dismantle DACA. Call African nations **tholes. And now, import white refugees from a wealthy colonizer class in South Africa. Let's be real, this is Make America White Again. And Latinos for Trump. You were never in that plan. It's not just hypocrisy, it's history repeating itself. Let's not forget, the US stole half of Mexico through war. The American Southwest is full of Spanish-named cities for a reason, because they were once Mexican land. We didn't cross the border crossed us. Meanwhile, white South Africans were colonizers who took land and built apartheid. Now that they've lost control, they are refugees. And Trump is welcoming them. History isn't just being erased, it's being rewritten in real time. So, what now? If you're a Latino who voted for Trump, this is your moment of reckoning. You were silent when he came for Muslims. You were loyal when he came for Haitians. You stayed quiet when he targeted DACA kids. Now he's showing you he was never on your side. It's time to speak up. Not just for your community, but for all oppressed people. Because this isn't just about immigration, it's about what kind of country America is becoming. At AfriVlog, we speak truth to power, no matter who it offends. If you're tired of the lies, the racial games, and the hypocrisy, subscribe and share this video. To my Latino brothers and sisters, we need you in this fight. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Speak up. Stand up. And make it right. Because when Trump picks who gets to stay and who gets deported, it's not about paperwork, it's about pigment. This has been AfriVlog. Stay loud. Stay woke. And don't let history repeat itself unnoticed.
President Donald J. Trump, my name is Valani, and with me is my husband Armand, and we are addressing you as South African refugees seeking your assistance and intervention. The situation in South Africa has become increasingly dire, and we fear for our safety and the safety of our family. Since the end of apartheid in 1994, South Africa has faced numerous political challenges. The government has struggled to maintain stability, and the country has experienced significant political dangers. Corruption, mismanagement, and a lack of effective governance have created an environment where crime and violence thrive. The militarization of political parties and the increasing political risk profile of the country have only exacerbated the situation. My husband served as a K9 police officer during South Africa's tumultuous political shift in 1994. During this period, he acted as a first responder to numerous incidents of violence, including those of farm murders. The mortifying images of the crime scenes he attended as a police officer will likely remain with him for all of his days. He worked tirelessly to uphold law and order amidst the chaos, despite the constant threats to his life. He was stabbed, shot, thrown from a second-story balcony, mercilessly beaten, every rib broken, ran over by a taxi, and left for dead in a stream. He made sacrifices for a country that doesn't value his life or his worth as a citizen. His experiences in this role have given him a profound insight into the ongoing violence and the incidents and the deeper understanding of the dangers that we face. Mr. President, the violence that pervades South Africa is not just random or incidental, but often targeted. Farm attacks have become a grim and frequent occurrence, particularly affecting those residing in rural areas. I'm a farmer's daughter, Mr. President, and the grim realities have been part of my existence since birth. As someone who has lived and worked within these communities, I have personally experienced 3 separate farm attacks of which I miraculously survived them all. This, Mr. President, is the bullet that was meant for my head. It is the only one of multiple that was meant to eradicate me from this earth and from my home, and only one of multiple attempts on my life. I have personally experienced an attempt at carjacking. The nature of my job requires me to travel from our farm, about 3 hours away from the city, to attend courses. My husband no longer allows me to attend my courses unescorted because of the high dangers we face as women in this country. Mr. President, heaven forbid you find yourself stranded with a flat tire on any road within South Africa as a minority female. The reality of carjackings, kidnapping, rape, murder, often simply because of our skin color or gender, is simply a part of our life. This is not living or even merely existing, Mr. President. This is a targeted rat race in a maze designed to keep us hostage and trapped, with the only eventual outcome of being gathered and killed in the barrel they contained us in. It is not a question of if we die, Mr. President. It is a question of when. Mr. President, we have both witnessed the devastating impact of these attacks firsthand. The fear of persecution and potential violence continues to loom over our family daily. Mr. President, our government creates an unlivable environment for its citizens due to racial discrimination laws, creating poverty and unemployment, and it becomes almost impossible for many to provide for their families. Due to these discrimination laws, we are just but one family that struggles with unemployment. The dire need to survive and ensure our loved ones have basic necessities often forces many individuals to resort to less legal means of obtaining an income. However, the government response to this is often punitive and punishing those who are already suffering from systemic injustices. We are reaching out to you, Mr. Trump, because we believe that you understand the importance of protecting the rights and safety of all individuals, regardless of their race or their nationality. We are a hard-working couple with valuable skills. We want to be a part of a country and a society where justice, equality, and safety reigns. Mr. President, we long for the American dream that we hear about. We want to be contributing citizens to a country that puts God, country, and family first. Our family shares your values you envision for your own citizens. Mr. President, my government or its serving bodies within have no right to speak for me as a South African citizen, especially when their motives and plans for this country do not include equality and justice, equality and safety, and the opportunity to work and live equally. I speak for myself and my family when I say that we need your help. We humbly request your assistance in addressing the plight of the minority South Africans, and more particularly so, my family, who are facing persecution and violence in our own country. Your support and intervention could make a significant difference in our lives and help us find safety and security. Thank you, Mr. President, for your time and your consideration. We understand that you are busy, not changing just one country at a time, but you have your plate full with multiple changes. But we still hope that you will take our situation to heart and provide the assistance that we so desperately need. Thank you.
¿Por qué están arrestando personas inocentes que solo huyen de una dictadura, de una tiranía asesina comunista?
Tras la detención de la joven cubana Laura de la Caridad González Sánchez, líderes del movimiento anticomunista I-220A expresaron su apoyo.
Como movimiento legal en el estado de la Florida, necesitamos por favor que se tomen en cuenta que si no hemos cometido crimen, que tenemos nuestras vidas organizadas, nuestro asilo pendiente, que por favor no tenemos por qué vivir con este terror.
I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote. Raise your hands, come on. For Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will
Habanas. How did I do, Mercy? For their incredible performance.
Nosotros lo hicimos porque nosotros queríamos. A mí nadie me pagó un centavo. A mí nadie me dijo que esto iba a ser beneficioso, ni siquiera que iba a
Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Hello everyone, welcome to a Frivlog Updates, where truth is not just told, it's unveiled. No filters. No sugarcoating. No distractions. Just raw, uncut reality from the streets to the seats of power. If you are ready to see the world as it is, not as they want you to believe, you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and stay informed. We deeply respect and acknowledge every creator whose work is featured here. Your voice matters and your presence is recognized. This is a Frivlog Updates.